To support my main task, the film noir short, I chose to create a poster for the film as well as a film review. I initially chose to do a poster because I find that aside from the trailer, which is what usually makes me want to go and see a film, it's the posters and the visual advertising that makes me want to see it as well. Obviously, a trailer wasn't an option for our ancillary tasks, so for me the poster was the next best bet. And I think it's worked really well. I think when I'm looking to see a film, if I see advertising and posters around, I'm more likely to see that. And our age group that our film was aimed at, I think we're more likely to see visual things like a poster on the advert on Facebook or something, as opposed to listen to the radio and hear it on there. So that applies to our focus group, which is good. Also, a film review, I find before watching a film, sometimes I will read a film review about it, sometimes on Rotten Tomatoes, or I'll just look it up on IMDb. And so I thought that was another good way to really put our film out. And I also chose to make an internet version of it as well, because I found that on Empire magazine they have everything that they have in their magazines they also have on the internet, with links to share on Facebook and Twitter. So that really goes with the rise of the internet and the social media and digital age which we are all in. So I think overall the combination works really well.
A couple more weeks. Well,
I created the poster for The Correspondent using Microsoft Publisher after trying out some initial ideas using Microsoft Word. We had 2 photo shoots in order to prepare material for the group's posters, and this worked really well as we were able to edit the photos to replicate the colour palette of our noir short. I used a lot of audience feedback in the creation process of my poster, and as a result I am extremely happy with it, and I think it complements the main task well. Our use of a black backdrop within the photo shoot ensured dark shadows and a dark background to the images, which was perfect for adding text. The dark tone of my poster strongly reflects the colours used in the film, and I feel that my choice of image reflects the relationship between Scott and Robin within the film very effectively. The second ancillary task that I chose to do was the film review. In order to prepare myself for this, I looked at existing film reviews, focusing on the magazine Empire. I thought it important to look at both online and magazine reviews, and so analysed the hard copy of Empire's Hitchcock review and looked at their online review for the neo-noir Brick, which was really helpful. I additionally formatted a film review I had previously written for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind into a similar style to that of Empire, in order to see whether or not the style would work. Once I had established the style I wanted my review to be in, I was able to select the large image I wanted to use and begin writing. My choice of image is from our filming day on location in Cambridge, which I chose rather than an image from a photo shoot or a still from the film, as it gives an air of exclusivity to the review. I chose the image mostly for the depiction of the lamppost within it, as it is an image strongly associated with the noir style, dating back to the classic period in films such as Stranger on the Third Floor, which was made in 1945, as well as reflecting the single source lighting that is also a key convention. After establishing the key components of a film review for my research, I made sure I incorporated sections for a fact file, short plot summary, review and verdict. In addition to my magazine-style film review, I chose to create an image depicting my review as part of Empire's online reviews system, as more often than not, reviews are likely to be read online, certainly by our target audience at least. And overall, I am very happy with my review. In the creation process of my ancillary tasks, I thought it most important for there to be a strong link between the poster and the film, because in general, film reviews are made by a different company to that of the film and the poster, so they'll be in a slightly different style. They don't necessarily have to match up exactly to the style used. Obviously, I have reflected the style of our film through my use of image, and I have used a similar text that I did in the poster and on the film's credits. So it is still reflective of it, but obviously that would have been made by a different company if it were a real film, so it didn't necessarily have to be an exact match. The film poster, however, is very closely linked to the film, especially through the title font. I used the same font for my poster as we did, I think it was Baskerville Old Face, and that was something that we all agreed on for the credits, and I'd used it in my poster anyway, so that went well. I also did a match between the colour of red used. It was a very similar tone of red. I think red is very important because in the creation of my poster, I used the colour match in order to get the colour of Ellie's lipstick, and the dark lipstick of our femme fatale was very recognisable within the film, so I thought it was important to have that incorporated into my poster, and in general I think that worked really well. This image depicts the 3 separate titles used across my tasks. The top one depicts a screen cap of the title as it shows in our film. The middle one is the title from my poster, and the bottom from the film review. Obviously, as you can see, the film review title does stand out against the other ones because I've used a bold font and I have used the colour blue. I chose to use blue within my film review because it reflected the colour of the sky within the image, and I thought it better for the film review to flow as a whole than to use red and have it jarring against the rest of the colour tones, and I thought that worked quite well in keeping a colour scheme throughout my film review. Alternatively, I could have used red because then it would have more strongly reflected my other tasks, but I do feel that as the film review is a more separate component to the other two, it does still work well. Overall, I think the combination of my 3 tasks works really well. When you put them together, you can easily see that they all link and that they're all referring to the same thing, the same film. And I think that was my main aim with that they needed to flow together. And I think they all combine, certainly the ancillary tasks combine really well to reflect the film in a good light, and I think it works well. Like with making a film, looking at existing media products was very helpful within the creation process for this. I looked at many different posters for film noir, both classic and modern. I found that within the classic ones, more often than not, they depicted all of the characters together. That's possibly reflective of a lower budget than we generally do now. But then neo-noir like Brick, their US advertising campaign had a stream of separate posters for all of the characters, just sort of teaser posters. And if we had had a larger timescale, I'm sure that that's something we could have considered if we were producing some posters as a group. I think that was an idea that we wanted to do, but in the end we found that it was best to do it separately, and that was what was advised by our teacher as well. So, following feedback on my tasks, mostly the film and the film poster, I think that I have managed to create an effective 3 tasks along with my group, because the film was a joint effort. I think I have effectively produced 3 tasks that work well together, and that was my aim.